I'm Ethan Kwan, and today I'm going to be showing you how to complete the square. Okay, so now we have 3 examples here, right? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to solve each of these equations using completing the square. Now, completing the square is not the easiest way to solve these kind of equations, but sometimes you just are needed to use completing the square to solve, which is kind of annoying. So the whole point of completing the square is so that we can get it into a form x plus y squared equals z. Not c. That's a backwards z. C anyway. Okay, x plus y squared equals z, and then you can take the square root of both sides, and then you can solve. That's the whole point. Okay, so that's what we're going to be trying to do here. Okay, so let's first take the first question. All right, so we have this, and we're going to try and solve this. So the first step for any problem like this is to get rid of the constant from the left-hand side. Okay, so how do you get rid of the constant? Well, the easiest way to get rid of the constant from the left-hand side is to subtract it from the left-hand side. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to subtract, or add this time in this case, 7 and to both sides. And that gets rid of the 7 here, and you get x squared plus 6x. And then you have to write plus again, and then you have to leave a little blank there, and it equals 7. Okay, so now we're going to add something. How do you figure out what to add? Well, you look at this term right here, and you take that term and you divide by 2, and then you square that. Okay, that's how you figure out what to put there. Okay, now 6 divided by 2 is 3. Squared is going to be 9. So now what we get is x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 7. Now we can't just add it to the right side, we have to also add it to the left so that we don't change the value. So that's exactly what we're going to do, 7 plus 9. Okay, so now we have this equation, and it's not at all different from the top. Okay, so now what we do is we rewrite this section as x plus, and then you just take this term and divide it by 2. 6 divided by 2, which is going to be 3. So, and then you square that, and then you set that equal to whatever was on the left-hand side, which is in this case 16. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the square root of both sides, and okay, so if we take the square root of this side, the square and square cancel, and this side is kind of complicated, so I'll explain in a little bit. So that means x plus 3 is equal to 4, right? That's not exactly right, actually. What you have to do is you have to say plus or minus 4, because negative 4 squared is going to be 16, and positive 4 squared is going to be 16 as well. So you have to say plus or minus, and that's where most people get a mistake. Okay, and now we can solve. We can split this into two equations. X plus 3 equals positive 4, and x plus 3 equals negative 4. Now we can solve these two equations, and we get x is equal to either 1 or x is equal to 7. 7. Okay, so now we're done. Actually, this would be negative 7. Okay, so that is our 2 answers. So that's the first problem. Now we're going to do the second problem. Let's take the second problem and scroll down there. Okay. And put that up there. Okay, so let's solve this equation. Now, this time there is a 2x squared instead of x squared. Whatever term is on the x squared, because actually these 3 examples, they're totally different, right? The first one has no term, or aka it's a 1. The second one has a 2, and the third one is a negative. So you have to check that and see which one you should use first before you do anything. Okay, so how do you solve this kind of thing with the coefficient on the x squared term? Well, first step is always the same. You get rid of the number on the left-hand side. So 3 plus 3, and you get 2x squared minus 10x, and then leave a gap, equals 3. Okay. Now what we do is we divide every term by 2. 2, 2, and 2. Okay, so 2 divided by 2 is just 1, so we can cancel that out, and we're left with x squared minus 10 over 2, which is 5. 5x equals, and actually we have to leave a little gap there, equals, and 3 over 2. 3 over 2. Okay, so now we have this. Now the next step is always the same. We add b squared over 4 to both sides. So we add 5 squared over 4, b squared over 4, or b over 2 squared, right? We can distribute it, so we get b squared, b, not r, b squared over 4. So we can do that here. We get 25 over 4, and that's in simplest form. And we have to add that. Now we take the square root of both sides, and we get x squared minus, actually no, we have to get rid of the squared, and then we add b over 2, so 5 over 2, equals 3 over 2, and we square that. Square this. Okay, there we go. Whoops. Squared. Okay, there we go. So now we take the square root of both sides, and remember to do the plus and minus part. Actually, wait a second. Oh, yeah, I forgot to add 25 over 4 to this side too. Sorry, don't forget that. Okay, and actually I'm going to simplify this part. So this is the same thing as 6 over 4, right? So we can add those, and we get x plus 5 over 2 squared, and we're going to take the square root of that, squared. Okay, and this part equals 31 over 4, right? And that's equal to that. And we take the square root of here. Okay, and now we can simplify, and we get x plus 5 over 2 equals the square root of 31 divided by 2, right? Because square root of 4 is 2. Okay, and this is an equal sign, equals, not an x. Okay, now we subtract 5 over 2 from both sides, and we are gonna get, let's see, we get x, is that a plus? No, it's a negative, sorry about that. This should be negative, and this whole thing should be negative, so that means we add, because we have to, 5 over 2, and we get x is equal to 5 5 plus the square root of 31, which is approximately equal to 5. So that top part would probably simplify to 5 plus 5, right? 5.5 maybe. I don't know. You can work it out for yourself. Divide by 2. So now we have this, and that is part 2. Okay, now let's do the third problem, which is here. Okay, scroll down. That's the old problem. Okay, here is our problem. Now, this time we have a negative, so how do we deal with that? Well, the easiest way to deal with that is, first of all, always get rid of the constant, so it's negative 7 minus 7, so now we have negative x, no, that's just that cross out x, negative x squared minus 6x, that's a 6, not a parenthesis, minus 6x equals 0, negative 7. Now we divide everything by, well, in this case it would be negative 1. And this basically changes the sign of everything. Negative 1, whoops, no, negative 1, okay. So now we have this equation, and we're going to cancel the 1s. We can cancel there and cancel there, so that means everything becomes positive, and then x squared minus 6x equals 7. And actually, this is exactly the same as problem number 2 now. No, number 1, sorry. See? There it is. Okay, so we're just going to get the same answers from before, which were x is equal to 1 and x is equal to negative 7. So the solutions here are, x is equal to 1 and x is equal to negative 7. Okay, so now we have this, and that is a really good tool, well, completing the square is, for solving quadratic equations. And next time, I'm going to be showing you how to prove the quadratic formula using completing the square. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe, like, and share this channel with others. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to never miss an upcoming update. See you at howtodoseverything.com, and see you next time.